Cymna Hashif Moharajan, Falcha Don Gaeltacht, Yana Troisican. I realise that one or two of you don't speak Scots Gaelic, so I'll do the rest of the speech in the English. We are here today to celebrate the wedding of Ailey and Dan. Thank you all for coming. Despite having 32 years to prepare a father of the bride speech, I was left stunned today at how beautiful she looks. She very obviously takes after her mum, not me. When Ailey told me she had fallen in love with Dan, I hadn't met him yet. I asked her to describe him. She said, he's tall and handsome, he's a police officer, and he's English. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. We are a police family. The celebrant, my friend Mr David Kennedy, is also the General Secretary of the Scottish Police Federation. My dad, Dan's dad Jeff, my brother Kenneth, myself, Ailey's uncle Andy, her cousin Scott and others, Ailey and Dan himself, his best man Colin and his wife Shona, Ailey and Dan's police friends who are here with us today. We are all part of the police family. We have served the people of Scotland and the United Kingdom for over 100 years. When you add up our combined service, it amounts to hundreds of years of dedicated service, and I am very proud of this fact. Raise your glasses to the police. I want to tell you 2 stories. The first story is about the McSporns. We are an ancient family. Over 1,000 years ago, before even the modern kingdom of Scotland came into being, Summerled established the kingdom of Dalriata. One of Summerled's war chieftains was called Shawnee McSporn, or McSporn Viking Slayer. Now, I don't know what you think, but you need to be quite tough to get a nickname like McSporn Viking Slayer. So, his sons and daughters, in accord with Highland tradition, were the MacSporns, the sons and daughters of the Sporn. In 1054, nearly 1,000 years ago, the MacSporn was the treasurer to King Malcolm of Scotland. So we're an ancient family. We can trace our roots back over 1,000 years. Our family chapel is at the small village of Kilkenzie on the remote Mull of Kintyre. The original chapel was built 1,500 years ago. 1,500 years later, we, the McSporns, still hear the call of the Gaeltacht. That is why Ailey and Dan chose to get married in the Gaeltacht, or the Highlands as you call them. So, the second story I want to tell you is just how special my Ailey is. Every dad would say that about their daughter. But most do not know how remarkable Ailey really is. My late wife Anne, Ailey's mum, and I had been trying for children for years. We'd been through all the IVF and other treatments. Then 7 years later, Anne got told she was pregnant. Not me, because we were old school. When our children were born, over 3 months premature, they were tiny wee bundles, just under £1 each. Anne and I were told a number of times they would not make it. Only 4 times in medical history had such premature and problematic babies ever made it. Ailey spent her first 6 months in hospital, wired up to every machine imaginable. There were several times Anne and I were told to prepare for the worst. We were told Ailey won't make it, numerous times. Now, 32 years later, I am giving a speech at my daughter's wedding. My daughter, who was given a 1 in a billion chance to survive. Ailey truly is a 1 in a billion. Enough of the nice stuff. Ailey is as clever as heck. She's got a Masters of Science degree from one university. She's got honours degrees from other universities. But she has no coordination. Like most women. Oh. You can hit me later. It took Ailey 7 attempts to pass her driving test. She failed on 2 occasions because she crashed the car during the driving test. When she asked why she failed, the driving examiner just looked at her and said, "Really?" Now she's in emergency response. Police driver. Ailey told me not to tell this joke, so in typical dad fashion, I'm telling it anyway. I went to a car showroom recently and I said to the car salesman, "I'd like to have a look at the police car in the window." The salesman said, "We don't have a police car in the window." I said, "You do now. Ailey's been out driving police cars again." True story. Cops at Drumchapel Police Office used to take bets on how many times it would take Ailey to park a police car in a parking place. The record was 12 attempts. Ailey is courageous. She has never backed down from any challenge. I've been with her climbing a number of times to the top of the Glencoe Mountains in the dark in the middle of winter in freezing temperatures. Now she is taking on her greatest challenge, being married to Dan. But I think Dan's got the greater challenge. Dan has found her prince in Dan. Sorry, Ailey has found her prince in Dan. Dan means the world to me. Dan is the perfect fit for Ailey. He's one of the most positive and kind persons I've ever met. He is simply remarkable. Dan served in the Royal Navy on Britain's nuclear deterrent submarines for 9 years before joining the police. Dan proudly served in our armed forces, Britain's finest. His friend Jamie is here from the Royal Navy. Raise your glasses to the Royal Navy. Dan supported me through the death of my wife Anne, through my battles with MS and cancer. To be honest, if it wasn't for Dan, I would have struggled. I am very proud that my son-in-law is also a best friend. It's been a hard 2 years for my family. We lost my wife Anne. We lost Granny Haffey, her Aunt Rose, and just this week we said goodbye to my mum, Ailey's Granny McSpawn. On the bright side, as many of you know, I've been battling cancer since the start of this year and undergoing treatment. It's been a long, hard road, and at times quite painful, but I got the news yesterday. I'm beating cancer. I didn't tell Ailey. I wanted it to be a surprise. I have some very special friends who are here today. I want to give mention to our large family, to my brothers and their wives, to Anne's brothers and sisters, to my numerous nieces and nephews, especially my niece Janice and her husband Mark. To the people who saved me when Anne died, to Ailey's uncle Andy, to our godmother Angela, to Sam and Senga, to Neil and Roseanne, to my special friends, Connie and Paul Mackenzie, Anne and Andy Buist, to Paul and Yvette and Francis, who are there supporting Anne in their final weeks and who have supported me and my family through the hard times. You are special. To Alison and Yaz, who own and run Alex Keith and their staff and do such a fantastic job. This has been a fantastic day. They have built this place from the ground up. They are very special people. Please appreciate them. I am very proud to welcome Dan and his family to my family. To Jeff and June, to Pauline and Ray. Dan's dad, Jeff, and me worked together on a huge counter-terrorism operation back in the 1990s. But we didn't realise we worked in the same job until we were swapping stories nearly 30 years later. Today is a very emotional day for me. Ailey's mum, my Anne, would have loved to be here. Anne loved Dan. She would have loved to be here today. Sadly, that has not been possible. Anne died from sudden cancer, but she had the great pleasure of knowing Dan and thinking Dan and Ailey were the perfect fit. If you don't mind, please raise your glasses and remember Ailey's mum. To Anne. I'm nearly finished. You'll be glad to know. But, and there is always a but, I am sad to lose the McSporn family name, which goes back centuries to when we were rebelling against the English in the Highlands. But I think it's important to keep the tradition. Please stand and raise your glasses. To Mr. and Mrs. Bryant, Slanjavar.